So during one of my live streams earlier this week, I got on the subject a little off topic, but I was talking about the pardons that Donald Trump has issued. And I mentioned in that stream that Donald Trump is the guy responsible for putting drug dealers and other violent criminals, including gang leaders, on the streets of America, while telling us all throughout the campaign and through this administration that we have to get rid of the gangs, we have to get rid of the drug dealers, we have to get rid of all the bad criminal people. But he's the one putting them out on the street. Then wouldn't you know it, the next day, big old report comes out from the Washington Post talking about all of the criminals Donald Trump has put back onto the streets of the United States, including, throughout his first term and second term, over 100 people convicted of very serious drug-related offenses, including trafficking. Let me read you this. He pardoned, obviously, Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht, which was one of the largest black market areas for drug purchasing. He granted clemency to others, including Chicago gang leader Larry Hoover and Baltimore drug kingman Garnett Gilbert Smith. And he pardoned former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez, who had been sentenced to 45 years in prison for running his country as a vast narco state that helped to move at least 400 tons of cocaine into the United States. So, Trump is out there telling us we have to commit war crimes in the Caribbean because we got to stop the drugs. We have to invade Venezuela, a non-hostile country to us, because of the drugs. And then he turns around and says, oh, you were running drugs? Pardoned. Clemency. Commutation of your sentence. You're free to go back to the streets where you can keep doing what you were supposed to be in prison for doing. Trump is the one allowing these criminals and gang leaders and drug dealers and all of these people, traffickers. He's the one flooding our streets with these dangerous, violent people. And that doesn't even include the more than 1,500 violent people who attacked the Capitol on January 6, 2021, that Trump also put back on our streets. Far too many of them have been rearrested, mostly for very violent or heinous criminal activity. Yet at the same time, Trump and the rest of conservative media tells us Democrats are soft on crime. Democrat cities are overrun with all these criminals. Minnesota's being overrun by Somalian gangs. You're letting the gang leaders out. You're setting them free. You're letting the drug traffickers out. Trump is the one flooding our streets with dangerous criminals. It's not the Democrats. It's not the Democratic politicians. It's not the open borders that Trump loves to say we've had, but we've never had. It's him. He's the guy doing this. So when confronted about this very open hypocrisy, Caroline Leavitt said this: I think that President Trump has been quite clear in his defense of the United States homeland to stop these illegal narcotics from coming to our borders, whether that's by land or by sea. And he's also made it quite clear that he wants to correct the wrongs of the weaponized Justice Department under the previous administration. Is Caroline Leavitt capable of uttering a phrase or giving any kind of response that doesn't include some kind of attack on the Biden administration? Because I don't think she is. But also, none of that addressed the hypocrisy, which is what you were asked about. Okay? You're just like, well, Trump wants to stop the drugs. So why is he letting the drug dealers out, Caroline? Why? Answer the damn question for once in your friggin' life. White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson, after Leavitt wouldn't answer Washington Post, Abigail Jackson was asked. And this is what Abigail Jackson said. The only pardons anyone should be critical of are from President Otto Penn, who pardoned and commuted sentences of violent criminals, including child killers and mass murderers. And that's not to mention the proactive pardons he signed for his family members like Hunter on his way out the door. So again, that's a non-answer. And it's just an attack on the previous administration. Wow. You guys are the most pathetic human beings on the face of the earth. Just absolute scumbags. But you may ask yourself, well, why is Trump letting these drug dealers out? Well, the Washington Post answers that. It's because it's a lucrative business. Financial disclosures have shown that lobbying firms have received several $1 million from people seeking pardons from the administration, and people close to Trump have also received millions of dollars in payments in exchange for them lobbying to get a pardon. It's a business. It's a pay-to-play. If you've got money, you can get a pardon, depending on how much money you got. That's what this is. He is basically, or his people close to him, selling pardons. And that's why these violent criminals are getting back onto our streets. Most of them were supposed to be locked up for the rest of their lives, basically, based on their sentence. But Trump is letting them out because they had enough money to buy their freedom. Scientists recently discovered a new evolutionary trait in puppies, and it's that they cannot grow up and reach their full potential unless you subscribe to this channel. Don't do it for me, folks. Do it for little Atlas and Judge here. Good boys. You do good. You want to say something? No? Okay.